Hello, good morning and welcome to African Morning Breakfast Show, coming to you live right here on SABC. We're coming to you live in South Sudan capital, Juba. We move out from our studio and we're coming to you from the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. In this edition of African Morning Breakfast Show, we're going to talk more about the activities of the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, the minister's plans, the challenges, the achievement, and the way forward. In this edition of African Morning Breakfast Show, I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled to say it. I'm joined by Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Mary Nawai Martin, to help us digest more about the role the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs is playing in the Republic of South Sudan. I am your host, Majur Cholkor, and Honorables, you're most welcome to this special interview on SABC. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you very much, SSBC team and the viewers. I'm happy to have you in this ministry today.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for accepting our invitation to have this platform to share with our viewers and amazing viewers of African Morning Breakfast Show. First, before we look at the role the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs is playing with its activities, your word of greeting to your colleague in the ministry, your colleague in the government, even your fellow friends and workmates outside there, and other South Sudanese that will be watching this interview.
Yeah, thank you very much. In the first place, let me take this opportunity to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, who is the patron of peace, for the implementation of peace and also for appointing me to be the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. I really appreciate that, and I would like also to pass my regards to all the viewers, the parliamentarian, and the staff of the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, and my fellow colleagues who are ministers in the revitalized government of national unity. I'm happy and I really appreciate you for coming to know the activities that the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs is carrying out. I was appointed in 2021 in August, in July, but I sworn in August as a Minister of Parliamentary.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Thank you so much, Honorable Mary Nawai Martin, and dear viewer, thank you so much for following these editions of African Morning Breakfast Show right here on SABC. You know that we're going to talk more about the activities of the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. Remember, if you're following us on our social media handle, on Facebook, on YouTube, remember to like and share on SSBC TV, Facebook channel, and also SSBC Official on YouTube. And right here in this discussion, before we look into the activities of the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable, you just stated that you were appointed last year, right? 2021, and before you become the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, let our viewers know what were you doing in your life before becoming the minister.
Thank you very much. It's a long story. Let me start. Before I became a member of parliament at the state level, I was working for a charity organization in the church. That's a Mothers Union organization. I was heading that organization during the liberated areas, the liberation struggle. So I was able to train the women during that time, to mobilize women, to train them on different activities like small-scale businesses, because during that time it was really a hard time for women. Most of the women were left taking care of their families, and the husbands were in front line. So we were able to train women in liberated areas on how they can keep their families, how they can take care of their children, how they can also support the movement. By that time, women were able to mobilize food and send to the front line. So that was the work that I was doing from 99. Immediately when I completed my diploma course, and then I started working with women. And then in 2005, I was appointed to go to state parliament. So my county is Iba, I was in IBA, and then I also formed a women group there, as I said before, who were able to mobilize food and send to the front line for our soldiers and different activities. So when they signed the peace agreement in 2005, my community said I should go and represent them at the state level. And then I was there from 2006, because we started in 2006. I was there in the parliament, and I was also a chairperson of the members' affairs in the parliament, Western Equatorial State. And then in 2010, I contested to come to the national parliament. So from 2010 up to date, I've been a member in the national parliament here. That's the work that I was doing before I became a minister.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for humbling yourself and letting our viewers know more about what you were doing before you became the minister. And this helps someone to know that you are someone who has experience in the government before you become the minister. So when you were appointed as a minister in 2021, what was your first feeling?
The first feeling, I was excited because actually I didn't know that one day I'll become a minister. But when I heard my name, I was saying, so God has answered my prayers through my party, SPLM, because I was nominated by the leadership of the SPLM and appointed by the president. I was very happy and I appreciated that. So, but I was also, in the other part, I was also like worried that this is my first time to be a minister. What will I deliver? I said no. Since I've been in government, because Parliament also is one of the organs of government. So since I've been in Parliament for so long, I will do something.
So what was that thing that came to your mind now you were appointed as a minister that you will come and change in the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs?
Actually, the first thing, because I've been in Parliament for long, what we've been battling with is to see that the executive are delivering the services to the people. And also executive to account to the parliament, because parliamentarians are representing the people. So, having that in heart, I was saying, no, this time I have to make sure that the parliamentarian knows their roles, to be able to summon the ministers, so that ministers can come to account to the parliamentarian, and then from there parliamentarian can take the message to the people. So I had that in heart, that I need to build that relationship between the parliament and the executive, because for the parliamentarian to know what the executive are doing, they need to interact. They need to summon the ministers, so that ministers can be able also to answer the questions to the parliamentarian. So that's what I had in mind, that I need to build the relationship, the free interaction between the ministers and the parliamentarian. That was the first thing, because sometimes you can see whereby ministers, when they are summoned to the parliament, they feel like they are being humiliated, they are not being respected. But it's not the case. It's just a free interaction, between the institution, to understand what the ministers are doing, and also the people down there will also, hear from the parliamentarian. So I had wanted to build the relationship between the parliamentarian and the executive. That was the first thing that I had in mind.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Let's now come to the activities of the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. Since you assumed the office in 2021, what has been the activities of the ministry that you carry out at your capacity with your colleague in the ministry as the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs?
Yeah, thank you very much. When I came in, I started, planning. The first thing was to bring the partners closer to the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, so that they can also understand our roles that we play. You know, Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs is a sovereign ministry. We create a lot of awareness to the citizens about what the government does in terms of civic engagement, in terms of, training or bringing the political parties leadership together so that they can sit together, they can dialogue together, they can understand their roles together. So that one, it is through the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. So I brought in the partners. We have friends, who are UNDP, or let me say the UN agencies. So I was able to invite different UN agencies and other international organizations so that they can come, and then we present to them our plans. Like the first plan is, this government, the revitalized government that we are in now, it has brought in different political parties and new members to the parliament at all levels, at the state level and at national level. So for the new members who just came in, I, as an old MP, I knew that when you just come from where you were without knowing what to do in the parliament, you cannot be able to discharge your roles as a MP. So we planned to train the parliamentarian so that they can know exactly what are their roles that they are supposed to play. And then that was the first thing, and then we presented it to the partners, and they are supporting it. Here in Juba, we have so far trained a good number of MPs, especially the female MPs. We train them on their roles, the roles of the parliament, of the parliamentarian, and their roles as female MPs also, what they are supposed to do in the parliament. We have trained a good number of them within the country, in Juba here. And then we also took some of them, about 30 of them were taken outside the country for exposure visit to Rwanda and Kenya. So because those are the countries that women are really competing with the men, especially in the parliament. So we took them there, and most of the members that we took, they were new members. So we took them there so that they can also go and learn from other fellow women what they are doing in that parliament.
Yes, Honorable, you did mention earlier that once you assumed the office, your first target was to look into the parliamentarian to know their role in service delivery to the people of the Republic of South Sudan. Now, in part of the activities that you've been carrying out as the minister in the office is training the parliamentarian to know their role. Do you say that in these 3 years that you have been in the office, there has been services that the parliamentarian has offered to the citizen that are tangible, that can be seen?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, I want to thank you for the question of service delivery to the citizen by parliamentarian. The roles of the parliamentarian is not really delivering the services that you can see tangible, but they can speak on behalf of the people. Their main role is to represent the people and to pass the laws and to oversee the executive. So when I said they are representing the people, that means they go to their constituencies, they talk to their people, the people will tell them what are the challenges that people are facing. Let me say, for instance, health centers are not there, good roads are not there, insecurity, things like that. Schools are not there, the enrollment of children are not really well represented at the state level or at county levels. So the parliamentarian will come to the parliament and raise motions. They can summon ministers to come and answer the questions based on the challenges that they have seen in their constituencies. So it's not really the parliamentarian to go and deliver the services.
But there are some situations, Honorable Minister, that you have been summoning the ministers, or the parliamentarian has been summoning the ministers, and there is no outcome being seen. Yes, the ministers go there, explain themselves, the challenges the ministries are facing for the services not to be delivered, talking about educational facilities, health facilities, and still up to now, the country is still outcrying that there are a lack of health facilities in some counties, in some payam, in some states. So what do you think is an obstacle that if the ministers are summoned to explain why they are not delivering the services by the parliamentarian, then still it is not being done?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, you know very well that we got our independence in 2011. And then, you know, the country that has gone through a civil war for a long time. For the country to establish itself, it takes time. But when we got our independence 2011, 2013 also another war broke out. So for the government to, you know, to make sure that the economy is stable and the resources are available for different basic service delivery, it wasn't there. So the good thing for us as South Sudanese is, you know, to denounce war. If we have permanent peace in our country, the resources that were spent on you know, war can be now used for the services for our people. We will have health facilities in our counties and our states, and the schools and good roads. You know, those are the challenges. Yes, the parliamentarian summons the ministers. The minister can also come and present what he or she have in terms of resources. For instance, we have a budget on paper, but there is no really liquidity that you can use for implementing this budget. So, and the parliamentarian also will understand, yes, the certain minister is also going through a lot of challenges. He or she could be able to implement the plans of service.
Yes, Honorable. Thank you so much. Before we go for break, first you stated earlier that once you were appointed as a minister, you were excited and overwhelmed that you're going to change something and that it is a God call for you to be a minister. Do you say right now there is something good that people of South Sudan can remember you for as being the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs that you have achieved at your capacity?
Thank you so much. Yes. Actually, we have done a lot for this less than 2 years. I have not reached the 3 years yet. Less than 2 years, because 2021, after August is when I will complete the 2 years. We trained the ministers of parliamentary affairs and legal affairs at the state level. We brought them to Juba, and they testified that that was the first time for them to have you know, to have that training. It was a coordination training, you know, to coordinate the national government to the state government through the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs and the Legal Affairs. You know, it was real something appreciated by the ministers who attended the training. And also we brought in all the clerks of the parliament, state parliaments. We also brought them to Juba for training, which was also appreciated by them. And they were also, you know, confessing that it was the first time for them to come to Juba for such a training. And also, you know, in all the ministries, all the 35 ministries, we have very, very important staff in the ministries called parliamentary liaison officers. So we also train them. The parliamentary liaison officers, they are supposed to be sitting in the parliament every day. When there is a sitting, they're supposed to sit in the parliament and get some informations there and report to their ministers. Because ministers are busy, they cannot be in the parliament all the day, but the parliamentary liaison officers are supposed to be in the parliament to get some questions, to know the debate that was happening there. If it is concerning the ministry where he or she is coming from, they can report it to the minister and create awareness to that minister. The minister will be able to know that the parliamentarian were asking such questions related to the ministry. We also train them so that they can be able to, you know, to carry out this important work that I'm talking about. Yeah, and also the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, as I said before, that we have trained a number of MPs within, and also we are rolling out the training in 10 states. As I said before, that most of the members are new. At the state level, we have 100 members, and then before, initially members were 48, and the new one that were brought in by this revitalized peace agreement, they are more than the old ones. So we are going around the states, training them, induction training, for them to know their roles and be able to discharge their roles.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. As a female minister, do you think it is a challenge for you being a female minister?
Yes, thank you. It is, yes, it is.
Okay, we'll come back to you and find out why is it a challenge to you, and also to the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, what are the challenges that you're facing. And dear viewer, thank you so much for following these editions of African Morning Breakfast Show, coming to you live right here in South Sudan capital, Juba. We move forward from our studio, and we are coming to you from the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. I am Ajur Cholkor, and my guest remain as Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Mary Nawai Martin. Let's have a break. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, dear viewer. Thank you so much for continuing following these editions of African Morning Breakfast Show. We are coming to you live right here from the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs in South Sudan capital, Juba. We're talking about the activities of the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, the plans and the way forward, and also the key challenges the ministry is facing. And helping us to understand more is Honorable Minister Mary Nawai Martin. Honorable, welcome back. As we just went for break, I was asking you a question. Being a female minister, is it a challenge to you? And you said yes. Now I want you to talk to our viewers. Tell our viewers, why is it being a female minister in South Sudan a challenge, and combine it with maybe the challenges the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs is facing?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, when I came in, there were things that maybe the staff thought of me coming as a woman or as a mother to change. For instance, there are no vehicles in the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. So I'm seeing it as a challenge, because I'm almost completing 2 years, and the staff are really suffering for the issue of mobility. It's very hard for them. But I really appreciate the staff of the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. Though there are challenges of transport, they don't have transport, but still they are coming for the government work, which I appreciate. It's one of the challenges that I'm facing. And then the second challenge also is, the plans are there on the paper, and I had wanted to visit each state, because I'm being an old member of parliament, and I have an experience of, representing people is not something easy. I have an experience of, the challenges of how people are challenging the MPs, that you people are not representing us well, you are not talking. I had wanted to go around the 10 states, to talk to the parliamentarian and also the executive, so that they can build the good relationship, working relationship, in terms of whenever a executive member is summoned, let him or her appear before the House to answer some questions. It's also a challenge, because I cannot, move around the states because of the resources. So that's one of the challenges that I'm really facing. And sometimes I may think, is it because I'm a woman, that's why my budget is not released so that I can go around doing my work? These feelings comes, but sometimes I also understand some male ministers are also complaining. Maybe it's because of lack of the financial resources that we are facing in the country, and it is global. Yeah, it's not South Sudan alone. So those are some of the challenges that I'm facing.
Okay. Honorable, now let's look at the relationship between the parliamentarians and the members of public. Earlier you stated that the ministry and the parliamentarian, most of the time they summon the ministers. That means they have that relationship with the ministers, for the ministers to be answerable, because the parliamentarian are the representative of their constituencies or the members of the public. Now, what of the parliamentarian and the public? What is their relationship?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me also take this opportunity to appreciate the executive, the members of the executive. As I said before, that it was one of my plans that I need to build the relationship between the executive and the parliamentarian. Really, I'm appreciating them because these days they are attending the sittings. We have divided the members of the executive into three. There are some who attend sittings on Monday, there are some who attend sittings on Tuesday and Wednesday, and they are attending it. And also those who are summoned, they are also appearing before the House, you know, to answer the questions to the parliamentarian, which I believe the parliamentarian are happy, because what is the questions that they have, the ministers are answered. And then coming to the relationship between the parliamentarian and the general public is really very, very important. As I said before, that the parliamentarian are representing the people. When you represent your people, that means you are also so closer to that person, to listen to him or to her, to get some information, and then you come and present it in the parliament. We have a very big issue in terms of you know, traffic police. Traffic police, they are really harassing the people, including the MPs. I've received a lot of reports or complaint from the members. I'm also a member of parliament. People also come to me that they are really being mistreated by the traffic police, including the members. Whenever a member is driving on the way, he or she can be stopped by traffic police, and when a member gets out the identity card that I'm a member of parliament, they don't listen to them. So it's a very big problem between the traffic police and our citizens. You know, there are things like which we don't understand, and hopefully the parliamentarian will summon the Minister of Interior, because there are issue of driving license, which is there, and then there is driving test, which is really making things very confused. You qualified to have driving license. What is the question of having a driving test? Even parliamentarians are being mistreated and harassed by the traffic police, which I don't feel comfortable with it, because parliamentarians are the members of parliament who are representing people, and they are also one organ of government. You know, it's one arm of government. There is parliament, there is executive, and there is judiciary. So the parliamentarians are supposed to be respected, but it's not happening. Yes. So those are the complaints from the public to the parliamentarian, and parliamentarian also reported to me.
Okay. Honorable Minister, we understand that members of parliament, the parliamentarians are the lawmakers, and you know, when they have misunderstanding with the other law agencies like the traffic police, it will bring this question to the members of public. These laws that are governing and ruling the traffics are coming out from the members of the parliament, and the law agencies now are the one violating and also mistreating the lawmakers. So in this situation, where do you want the Minister of Interior and then these officers from the law agencies to come in and solve this problem? It's not only MPs complaining, other personalities in the government that have dignity that need to be respected by the law agencies like traffic, the other police officers. They feel like maybe they always have these challenges. So what do you think need to be built here, apart from summoning the minister?
Yeah, actually, thank you. Some laws are coming from, I don't know whether it comes from the Ministry of Interior or where, like what I'm talking about, the driving test. Is it driving test or what? Assessment. So that one, it didn't come from Parliament, really. It does not come from Parliament. You know, that's why parliamentarians are asking, where did the Ministry of Interior get this law? Because you go for driving course, when you are qualified, you are given a driving license. What about this driving assessment again? And they are charging people for it. It's like 6 months or 3 months, you renew it again. What is it for? You know, there are some laws, I don't know whether they are laws or...
Which one is the problem here? Is it the traffic officers stopping the parliamentarian, asking them about the document, or how they respond to them in maybe in a harsh way and charging them money? Which one is the problem?
They don't, you know, they don't answer them in a harsh way. They stopped them. When they stop, they said they need the driving license. They provide this driving license. They need the fire extinguisher, yeah, they also provide. They need the logbook, they also provide. And then they will ask for driving assessment. So they are wondering, what kind of assessment again? And then they give you a receipt. You pay, I don't know, is it 20,000 or what? I'm not sure of the amount. So
do they do that one regularly or?
Yes, every day, daily basis, on the way. You know, and it brings a lot of questions. Now, if I have driving license, which I qualified as a driver to have it, what kind of assessment again? You know, and it is not for 1 year. It expires like after 3 months, you renew it again. So that's what is bringing confusion now. And it didn't come out from the Parliament. And any law that is supposed to be implemented like that, it comes out from the Parliament. But the parliamentarians even are not aware of it. Where does it come from? You know?
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Yes, it is one of the challenges that the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs is facing, the parliamentarian having mistreated by the members of the law agency, especially the traffic. It is not my word, it's the word from the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. And right now, before we end this discussion, Honorable Minister, let's look at your ministry, the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. You have mentioned a lot of achievement and the way forward. As we are in the South Sudanese are in the transitional period, what role do you think here as a minister and your ministry is going to play in the peace process and also in the roadmap?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, we have a lot of work to be done by the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. I talked of civic engagement. The Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs will be, you know, engaging the civilians or the citizens on different things. One, election. There is a voter education coming. It will be carried out by the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. And also, the parliamentarian, we need to make sure that the parliamentarian also goes down to their people to talk to them about the election that is coming. Because it is their role to make sure that people go for registration, voter registration, and make sure that the people who registered, they also vote. So we have that one as a way forward from now. And then again, as I said before, that we are going around with induction trainings in the 10 states. We have so far covered 7, so the remaining states will be covered. And I will also myself go to other states to make sure that there is a harmony between the executive and the legislature at the state level, because we need to start peace by ourselves. We are the government, and we need to make sure that there is peace among ourselves. If there is no peace between the legislatures and the executive, even our citizens will not have that peace. it needs to start with us. We need to have peace. Good working relationship will be able to also, sensitize our population about the peace. Especially the parliamentarians, they have a very big role to go to their constituencies to preach peace. As the election is coming, we don't need, to have violence of election. We need to go for peaceful, free and peaceful election to be conducted. So those are the things that we are now aiming at, especially election through the roadmap, because the roadmap was developed because of other things that were not really achieved. That's why they came out with the road.
Yes, Honorable, have you experienced some situations that honorable members of parliament are going to their constituencies to share and gather some information right here in the country, or do you think there are some difficulties that the members of parliament, they could not make it to their constituencies? Because I remember there were some trainings and some forums I attended. Some members of parliament were giving the issues of insecurity as the challenge for them to go to their counties, their constituencies, to address the issues that affect the people at the grassroots level. So if these issues continue to be there, where do you think the members of the parliament will reach out to their constituencies?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, it is our collective responsibility, especially the security organs like the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Interior, and the other organized forces. We need to make sure that there is security at all levels, because if there is no security, it makes it difficult for MPs to go down to their constituencies. So as the election is coming, we need to establish good security at all levels. So it is the responsibility of the security organs to make sure that there is security in place, so that members can be able to go to their constituencies and interact with the people, and also get some information so that can enable them to present to the parliament.
Okay. Honorable, I think we have exhausted a lot, and we still have a lot to discuss, but maybe we can give you a time, and maybe next time, I hope this will not be the last time. In case we have not touched anything, maybe in 1 minute you can talk about something that we have not touched, and it's from your heart you want to share with the members of public, and your words of advice to the whole citizen of South Sudan and everyone that is watching this program.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to inform the public about the great role that the parliamentarians are doing in this country. They are representing the people down there at all levels. So when I'm talking of the parliamentarian, even at state level, the parliamentarian who are at the state level, they're also representing the people at the state. So let's make sure that we interact with our parliamentarian to tell them the challenges that we are facing at our state or at our counties, so that what we are facing can be raised in the parliament, and the resolutions can be passed by the parliament to the executive for the implementation, because not everyone can come and talk on his or her behalf, but they are represented by the parliamentarian. This is a very important arm of government, which is the parliament, because they're representing the people and they pass laws, And also I need to appreciate them at all level, at the state level and at national level, especially at the state level. Since my team has been going around the 10 states with induction training, there are a lot of challenges, whereby there are a lot of conflict, a lot of friction between the parliamentarian and the executive. So I'm saying this is not the time for that. We need to have a good working relationship. We need to know our roles, the roles of the parliament and the roles of the executive, so that when they are interacting with the executive, they will know exactly there is no one fighting each other. So I'm appealing to the public to interact with the parliamentarian, and also I'm also appealing to the executive to interact with the parliamentarian, so that we can have good working relationship and we understand one another. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and dear viewer, thank you so much for following these editions of African Morning Breakfast Show right here on SLBC. It has been my pleasure having Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Mary Nawai Martin, in this edition, helping us to understand the activities, the plan, the achievement, and the challenges way forward of the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. Take what belongs to you and use it for the benefit of the people of the Republic of South Sudan and the country at large. For me, Majur Cholkur, and the colleague in the technical team, we do say thank you so much for having your time to follow this edition. Until we meet again, this has been my pleasure. And Honorable Minister, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. It is a pleasure.